You ever have one of those moments where you realize the rules in the room were written by people who never wanted you to feel safe in it? That was the kind of day. I had the kind where humiliation sticks to your skin like sweat, where even the air feels rigged against you. I walked into that office thinking, just maybe this was the place that would finally give me a chance, not because I checked every box, but because I'd earned it, because I'd survived enough to deserve something real. But if life's taught me anything, it's that the room you're desperate to belong in will test what you're made of before it lets you breathe easy. I was wearing my one nice interview suit, bought secondhand, a little too tight at the waist but clean, and my daughter's tiny handprint was still ghosted on my skirt, even after 2 washes. I just finished shaking hands with a woman from HR when I felt someone move behind me, way too close, and before I could turn, I felt my skirt yanked down, sharp and sudden, and the laughter hit me before I even realized what happened. My skirt ripped halfway down my thighs, right in front of a glass wall packed with people. Somebody gasped, a couple folks' snickered phones went up, because why offer a hand when you can grab a viral clip? And then I heard him some intern, white guy, maybe 22, trying too hard to look like he belonged, grinning at his friends as he pointed at me and said, "Relax, it's just a joke. You don't belong here anyway." Yeah, that happened. And if you're waiting for the part where I clapped back, I didn't. My face went hot. My mouth filled up with the taste of old shame. All I could think was, I hope my daughter never sees me like this. So I did what I've learned to do. I got quiet. I looked at the glass door, dialed my husband, and the words came out so small I barely recognized my own voice. "Baby, it happened again. Can you come get us?" He said what he always says, let them laugh. Tomorrow they'll know. My daughter was waiting outside with her coloring book, 6 years old, already learning how to read faces for danger. I held her close, fixed my skirt as best I could, and tried to look like the world hadn't just cracked open beneath my feet. All around me, the office buzzed like nothing had happened. The interns and receptionists at the front desk, you could hear them, even though they tried to whisper. "She really thinks she can just walk in here dressed like that?" One of them snorted, shooting me a look that said I was already counted out. Another, a smug guy named Davis, leaned back and said just loud enough, "Some people need to be reminded where they belong." And that right there, that was the room. A place where cruelty wasn't just allowed, it was tradition. I sat in the corner, hands glued to my skirt, willing myself invisible. The energy shifted. Someone flung the glass doors open so hard they banged against the wall. Every head turned. That's when he walked in, this tall, black man in a charcoal suit, not a hair out of place, gold wedding band shining, eyes like coals about to catch fire. Security started toward him until the receptionist turned pale. She whispered, "That's the new CEO. He was hired last week." He didn't stop, didn't blink, just moved straight through the crowd like he owned the ground under his shoes. He stopped right in front of Davis, who suddenly looked about 6 inches shorter. The CEO's voice was so calm, it was terrifying. "Tell me, which part of ripping a woman's clothes in public fits our company values?" Davis sputtered, the color draining from his face. "I didn't mean, but he didn't let him finish. "You're done. Right here. Right now." Next thing I know, we're all herded into a boardroom, HR, legal, a couple of the higher-ups. The CEO, whose name I learned was Marcus, plays the security footage on the big screen for everyone to see. No one looks at me, but I can feel the weight of their stares anyway. Marcus sits next to me, hands folded, eyes never leaving the room. "My wife didn't just apply for a job," he says, voice steady. "She walked into a building where power protects cruelty. And I walked in to burn it all down." He doesn't just fire Davis. He fires the head of HR for letting this kind of rot fester. He calls for an immediate diversity audit right there in front of everyone. Says he wants to see hiring stats, promotion stats, complaints. Says if the numbers are dirty, he's cleaning house. I barely remember breathing as it all unfolded. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a message from my husband. Let them laugh. But nobody was laughing anymore. In the days that followed, everything changed. The posters in the lobby weren't just about teamwork or synergy anymore. They were about courage, reporting, rebuilding. No silence in this space. Report, rebuild, rise. That was the new motto. And for the first time, I walked through those same doors, and people stood up. Not to stare, not to laugh, but to nod, to smile. A few whispered, "Welcome back." They'd given me a real title, Executive Culture Liaison. Paid, respected. Not a seat at the table. I got to help decide who built the table in the first place. I saw it in their faces, that uneasy mix of relief and regret, maybe even a little hope. Some people saw a black woman walk in and assumed weakness. Sometimes, though, she owns the building, she just hasn't worn her badge yet. The best part? My daughter ran to me after my first official day, hugged my legs, and whispered, "Mommy, it didn't make you cry today." I knelt down, hugged her back, and said, "No, baby." Today they cried instead. Let me back up a sec. This isn't about revenge. Not really. It's about finally drawing a line. About showing every person who ever thought power only looks one way that sometimes justice walks in on quiet feet, dressed in a suit, and changes the rules. Maybe next time, when someone like me walks into a room, they'll remember how fast the ground can shift when even one person decides enough is enough. But let's not pretend it's all fixed. Some folks watch what happened and learn to be afraid. Others just learn to hide better. Justice is a process, not a miracle. Power doesn't always wear suits. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's loud, but it's always watching. What would you have done if you were there? Do you think firing a few people really changes anything? Or is it just another headline until the next storm rolls in? I want to hear what you think about dignity, about justice, about the battles we fight in rooms that weren't built for us. Drop your thoughts below. Argue it out. Tell me if you've ever been underestimated or seen the rules rewritten in real time. And if you believe stories like this need to be told, share it. Let's see whose world gets turned upside down next.